Okay, so the prostate gland is situated, it's more or less like between your testicles, but inside your body and just in front of your anus, right? So you can, for example, if you put your fingers down by your perineum, just underneath your testicles, you can actually find a place which is sensitive, so that's just before, maybe like a centimeter or two before you get to the anus, and that little sensitive spot, you're actually more or less touching and palpating your prostate gland. Okay, it's also possible without actually going down with your fingers, if you slightly, very, very gently, just squeeze and move very, very gently the muscles in front of your anus around the perineum, you can also get a feeling there, like this little ball, that's your prostate gland. Okay, so why is the prostate gland so important? Okay, well, a lot of people have probably heard of prostate and then the word problem.
Prostate
afterwards.
cancer, for example.
Prostate cancer, prostate problem. Seems like most guys, it'd be hard fetched finding a guy over 70 who doesn't have a prostate problem.
I think it's the number one cancer for men in the UK, prostate cancer.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely. And the problems guys are getting by the time they're sort of, 60, 70, sometimes even younger, and sometimes the prostate is being removed, almost as if it's kind of doesn't have importance for the body. Well, if we look at these ancient sciences, like for example Taoism, the prostate gland is like so important to the body, because what happens with the prostate gland is everything, like all the toxins in our body, so we're talking about physical toxins, even from, for example, using like a moisturizer, like a moisturizer from Boots that's full of all sorts of things you can't read the name of, and those are all sort of toxins. Those will go into your body and they'll sit in your prostate. At the same time, like on a more esoteric level, our negative emotions, traumas, men's negative emotions and traumas go into their prostate gland, the same way as we were talking before, the women's negative emotions are going into the G-spot and into the vagina in general, causing also cervical cancer, So the health of the prostate is really, really important for like the energy levels and the health of the whole body. Okay, now, I mean, there's prostate massage, and now it's even becoming popular that men are going to the doctor and they're asking for to have their prostate milked. So it's basically the doctor. Yeah. So what the doctor is, he puts the finger in, he massages the prostate, and then a liquid comes out of the penis. And the liquid, it's not ejaculation, it's not urine, it's just a liquid that's cleaning out of the prostate. So men are getting that done, and then there's also better known prostate massage, which is something that I do as well. And obviously that's not for everybody. I mean, for people who are into it, having like a really proper professional prostate massage is just incredible for like the health of the whole body, the energy level, also like emotionally, it's like really, really great. It's very, very relaxing for the whole body, but that's not for everybody, as well. So for example, the prostate can be massaged externally by just touching, as I mentioned, in front of the anus, finding it, massaging it. But then also you can massage it yourself just with the surrounding muscles. And it's very, very good and even important to actually have a relationship with your prostate, because I think that like parts of our body that we ignore get sick, so men have just gone around not even knowing what a prostate was, and it was almost like the prostate wants to go, hey guys, look, I'm here, and he has to collectively make everybody sick. So everyone's talking about prostate problem, and then suddenly you're having like attention coming to the prostate.
Do you think masturbation, they say it's official science says it helps with prostate, so it's a good idea to masturbate a lot?
First of all, I don't think jerking roughly your penis is not good for your prostate gland, okay? I mean, they talk about frequent ejaculation, but that can have problems with it as well, I mean, I think like, for example, a certain amount of ejaculation is probably healthy for most people, and it varies from person to person how much is going to be healthy, but just simply by actually like, we can say like going into our body, even shutting our eyes, bringing your attention inside to your prostate. We can even send loving energy by smiling to your prostate and just gently moving the muscles around the prostate and actually massaging it in that way will help to release, the blockages that end up causing these prostate problems. And some guys nowadays, even in their 20s or 30s, are having prostate problems, and these prostate problems, they are not nice things. Even going to the doctor and the doctor putting his finger up your anus to check your prostate, it is not a nice experience. I mean, when you get a prostate massage, your whole body is massaged, and it's done like very, very gently. The doctor doesn't tend to do it gently, and then if you have a prostate problem, it's like you have this problem there sort of all the time, and it's not a pleasant thing to have, and it's kind of like, you can either ignore it, you know, at your peril and end up down the line with problems, or you can start actually bringing energy and healing to your prostate. So, I mean, we can talk about prostate massage, absolutely. I mean, not all fingering of inside the anus is going to be beneficial, because a lot of people actually maybe finger in a way which could even be harmful to the prostate. So a real professional prostate massage with someone who's properly trained, yes, definitely that can be like a beneficial thing. But learning for yourself to just very, very gently tune into your prostate, and even by just being present with your prostate, you can actually help to bring energy there and help to heal it, you know. And then these just, the gentle squeezing, being present, really, really feeling it. And sometimes when you actually like meditate with your prostate, so it's the same way, actually send an inner smile in the same way you might meditate smiling to your pineal gland, smiling to your heart. Do the same thing, smiling into your prostate gland.
That sounds brilliant.
And so that basically you're sending that loving energy, and you're opening it up. And the more that the energy becomes active, the more that the prostate actually becomes like a pleasurable place. So when the prostate is blocked, is painful, and then it develops into sickness. When it's unblocked, it actually is pleasurable, basically, you know. Or sometimes when it's blocked, it can also be numb.
Yeah, so let me share my experience. So I sometimes, when I'm doing yoga and doing semen retention, I have an orgasm internally without trying. It's just a state of relaxation that is clearing in my body. So the energy from semen retention will go into the prostate, and it feels like a contraction, and it will last couple of minutes, but it feels so much better than ties in with the semen retention, the ejaculation. It's so much better than ejaculation. I can feel it. The prostate muscles must be getting contracting in and out, and you can't. It's like you just go with the flow and surrender. And I feel like that's healing energy, because that's massaging the prostate and putting your sexual energy into the prostate and giving it like a very deep level, almost like we talked about earlier about that. You said about the female ejaculation. I feel like the male ejaculation version with a prostate is very powerful. I don't know how to do it yet, and I want to get better at it, but I do feel that that's linked in with internal male orgasming of the prostate is more powerful than ejaculation for 2 seconds, and that would probably help with the prostate cancer for men, if men can learn how to do this internal orgasming.
Absolutely, because when you have an orgasm of the prostate, it loosens the whole prostate up and really like actually heals it. It's like heals the tissues. And then what it does is, we were talking about the energy meridian coming up the center of the body, the Chong Mai. It actually like sends energy and opens up that whole energy meridian. So it's like in a sense, it's almost like one of the most healthy things that a man can do is have orgasms in his prostate gland, you know. And the way to do it is basically start moving the energy, which means moving your attention into your prostate gland. Start focusing on your prostate gland, meditating with your prostate gland, gently squeezing it, opening it up. As it becomes more and more pleasurable, because the energy there is more awake, it's more alive, eventually that energy is going to start moving up the body, and that is basically a prostate orgasm. So it's the same as, for example, a woman having a cervical orgasm, which we didn't really talk about yet. But a cervical orgasm is like a vibration of the cervix that travels up that same meridian, the Chong Mai, you know. So in some, it's almost like combining a cervical orgasm and a G-spot orgasm all in one, you know, a prostate orgasm. So I mean, eventually when you get really, really like tuned in with your prostate, you can learn to just give your prostate an orgasm with your own mind. So these orgasms, you don't ejaculate with these orgasms, and they can go on, I've heard them going on for 15 or 20 minutes, you know, just pulsing of your prostate gland, and it's just so amazingly healing. Just like the cervical orgasm is so healing for the cervix, and even doctors are actually saying that if a woman is having cervical orgasms, she's much less likely to have cervical cancer as well.
This makes sense, and I love what you said earlier. Just to remind people of like, I feel the same way, that what you don't put attention on grows into like a cancer or a disease and lack of love. So if we put attention in these areas of the body, the prostate, then obviously it's going to magnify that beautiful part of the body, and it's going to cause energy to flow. I do think one way that guys can stimulate the prostate and orgasm in it, that I've figured out from yoga, is the forward bending poses. So squatting, Indian style squatting, Hausana, anything to do with the forward bends, the seated forward fold, seems to definitely stimulate in me from semen retention, that energy back into the prostate, and I start getting orgasms without even trying. I think that's the ultimate goal. We're not looking to try to like desperately seek for an internal orgasm of the man, but it happens naturally when we're healthy, clean, and we focus our love and tension and do these exercises like yoga on the prostate. So and I mean,
also just about focusing on certain parts of the body, because when we get these negative emotions that turn into traumas because we don't process them, those negative emotions go to live in certain parts of their body, and what we then will do is we'll avoid going with our attention into those parts of the body, like almost like having a cupboard with like a dead rat inside, and we're not going to look in the cupboard because we know, oh, there's this disgusting thing that we don't want to have to clean up, you know, but it's going on there on a kind of subconscious level, you know. So say for example, when we have a trauma, say for example the trauma in the prostate, which often actually it's to do with basically like negative sexual conditioning, shame and guilt, you know, around sexuality, that very often is what it's caused by. Yeah. You know, when we start being present in our prostate gland, it's actually often going to be that emotion comes up. But what's important when that emotion comes up, don't avoid it, be present with it, give it love and allow it to
Isn't that how
release.
the problem came up? Because we weren't present with the emotions when they came up in terms of trauma. I feel like that if you're not present with an emotion at the time, then it manifests in a trauma and it hides in the body. So now when we focus
sometimes
on
we can't be present, and that's okay.
Oh yeah, because like
sometimes we
for
can't
example,
be.
we're kids and we don't understand life. How we're supposed to be present to like,
or even as adults, is you know, these things that do get stored in our
normal.
body.
Yeah.
Because we don't always process them. You know, for example, like if something happens that upsets us, we're taught to just kind of smile and pretend that's not going on, and then the trauma gets stored in the body. Whereas if, you know, something upsetting happens and we cry at that moment, then we process the trauma and we get it out of our body. Yeah.
That's powerful. So yeah, thanks for saying that. Is there anything you didn't include on the prostate health guide and the power of, is there anything you missed off?
Just, it's about having a relationship with your body, with yourself, with your prostate, and that's what's really, really important. And actually, you know, feeling love for your prostate, and even going and getting an anatomy book or Googling and finding an actual picture of your prostate and looking at it and thinking, this is what my prostate looks like.
So you can
finding a
imagine
few
it
different
easier.
pictures, then really feeling where it is, and just like we were doing with the inner smile, just smiling and sending those loving energies and energies of acceptance into the prostate. Yeah.
That's powerful. Thanks, Jade, for this. This was Holistic Health Harry with Jade Lotus on the power of the prostate, eternal orgasming, and prostate health for guys. So thanks.